This is Math 2, 11.3a Notes, Part 2. That's Math 2, Unit 11, Lesson 3a, Part 2. So we're finishing off the notes that we did for 3a. We talked about imaginary and complex numbers, went through all these problems, went to the back page, worked out some more, and I told you guys I would finish number 10 and then give you the little tools to use. Okay, 10 is 3i times 5i times 2i times another 3i. Okay, so we're going to do 3 times 5 times 2 times 6, and you can do that in any order. 5 times 2 is 10, 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 10 is 90. Again, however you want to do it. 3 times 5 is 15, 15 times 2, and then that times 3. You can do it any number of ways. All in all, you're going to get 90. I to what power? You add the exponents, 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's I to the 4th power. And what is I to the 4th power? Because remember I said your answers will either have an I or no I. A number like this, 14, negative 15, or negative 7i, there's an I there, but it should never have an I squared, an I cubed, I to the 4th, or anything higher. Okay, so what is I to the 4th? Well, I know that I squared is negative 1. We talked about that earlier. Right up here, I squared is negative 1. So I'm just going to write I to the 4th as I squared times I squared. Why? Because if I add the exponents, that truly is going to equal I to the 4th. So I'm just breaking it down. I squared is negative 1. Another I squared is another negative 1. Therefore, I to the 4th equals negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So I end up with 90 times positive 1 because I to the 4th is positive 1, and my answer is just 90. All right, how does all of this work with the i's and I squareds and so forth? Okay, so we're going to write them here. I to the 1st power, I to the 2nd power, I to the 3rd power, and I to the 4th power. What do they all equal, and how does it work? Okay, well, we know I to the 1st power is just I. It's always going to be just I. And you're going to leave it as I in your work. When you end up with an I, leave it there. There's nothing wrong with it. I squared, you will not leave. I squared, right here, you're always going to change to negative 1. Because we showed you here when you squared both sides, square root squares undo, I squared is negative 1. I cubed, we figured out here by doing I times I times I squared times I, we got negative I. I to the 4th, we did right here with I squared times I squared, negative 1 times negative 1, and we got positive 1. All right, so how are we going to memorize this? You will need to know this for the test. I to the 1st, I squared, I cubed, I to the 4th is I, negative 1, I, negative I, 1. So, if you can remember, you're celebrating I won with negatives in the middle. I'll repeat that. You're going to celebrate, I know how to do this, I won with negatives in the middle. I, number 1, I, number 1, negatives in the middle. So you're celebrating, you won the game, I won. With negatives in the middle. That's how it works. And if you ever ended up with something like I to the 7th power, you just use the pattern 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It would equal negative I. I to the 12th power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 would equal 1. All right? Okay, you go ahead and try some like this on your worksheet. That is it for this lesson.